Yo, dude, so the van build's gone on for quite some time, way longer than I actually originally thought it ever would. But what thought I would do today is basically just talk you through the things we've got left to do, or the things that I wanted to continue to do on the van before I regard it as pretty much a finished project. There's a couple of things on the outside, there's a couple of things on the inside. So we'll just start on the outside first, and I'll just talk you through where I'm at. The van's still getting used every day, so obviously this time of year with the road grime and things like that, it's just always going to be minging. There's no way to make it clean or anything like that. And then random fact as well, for all the YouTubers in the UK who like Greggs, the headquarters is literally behind this bush. So there you go. So let's look at the outside first of all, and then we'll go at the inside. So on the outside, there was literally only two things left to do before I would regard this as pretty much where I had the original list of things I wanted to do with the van. So quite clearly, first one here, it's the wing mirrors, nice whistle off this one, and then the different side over here. So what I'd like to do with these is replace them for the Caddy Life ones, so the smaller ones that are a bit more streamlined, a bit more fitting with the look of the van, a bit more clean than the Dumbo lopsided ears. And for those who don't know already, because it got missed by me for a few months when I bought the van first of all, is when you look at it from head on, the wing mirrors are completely different shapes. So there you go, random bit of trivia. So yeah, the smaller ones from the Caddy Life look a lot better on the van, fit a lot better on the van in my opinion. So that's one of the things that I wanted to do. The next thing, I've literally had this since the first break in my videos. I had it ordered and it took months to come, like way longer than was expected. I thought it would take 2 weeks and it literally took months to come, which was mildly frustrating. And then a load of other stuff happened, and that's essentially what stopped the video flow in the first place. But it's just sat in the garage. I need to put it on. But I've got an old school style, I can't even remember the name of the guy who does them now, it's been so long ago, roof rack. So basically, once I get that on, old school style roof rack, and I've seen pictures of the vans with them on. Not many people have them, I don't think, but I've seen pictures and they look really good. So once I get round to it in the next few videos, that'll be going on. And then from the outside, that's pretty much where I wanted it to be. The idea as well, and I don't think anyone realized that this was a temporary fix, was when I got it lowered, that was basically just like a temporary thing. And the theory is the videos would keep going, I would end up getting monetized, and then the monetization would be able to pay for what I really wanted to do, which was airbags. And so I've never driven airbags, so I don't know how they handle. I've heard some people say they're not good. I've heard some people say they're a lot better than they used to be, but that was the original plan. Get it airbagged, and then, you know, when I'm in a position where I want to lower it down, I can put it on its arse. And then when I'm in a position where I need it higher, because I'm going to have ground clearance issues and things like that, on some of the roads I drive on with my mountain biking and things, then I can raise it up and it's not an issue. But kind of ended up getting stuck like this, and it's, I would say now I'm past the point of sort of being like the van looks cool, and I'm more on the frustrated side of things with ground clearance issues. The rear is really firm, and I mentioned that in the video before. It's to do with the leaf springs, I imagine, and the fact that it's set up to carry load as well. So horse and cart technology, kind of a little bit over it. Like I said, the original plan was to have this replaced by now and have this as just, you know, an extra car where I can do bits and pieces to it, and put airbags on. But if I was to go back and do it again now, with the frustrations that I've had for the extended period of time that I never imagined that I would, what I would be choosing to do on the outside would be to actually raise it up a little bit, get some steel wheels on and get some off-road tires on, and have it, I think, what do they call them, like swamp thing, I don't know the name, swamp bug, something to do with swamp anyway. But yeah, it would be more like a raised up off-road kind of style. than slamming it and making it look like it does now. And so that pretty much covers the outside. Now onto the inside. So we'll do the back first of all. Again, excuse how dirty it is. Like I said, it's used. So in the back, so first thing is, you know, again, this roof was just temporary because I wanted to do it slightly different. And at the front here, where essentially you would have curtains blocking out the front cabin, because it was going to be like a camper slash everyday slash like do everything kind of build. So it was literally going to be able to change the space. It was literally going to be able to change the space. So if you've ever seen like what's he called, George Clock's Amazing Spaces or anything like that, then that's essentially how it was going to be. So, you know, a van for work because it was just soft goods that I had, a van for mountain biking, and a van for going away and staying in the weekends, or mountain biking and staying in the weekends. So a bit of everything. But yeah, so that was going to be a divide here. How do I move my arm to there we go. So a divide across here, and then so a curtain up, and then in the roof here was going to be one of those fold down TVs. So it was like a nice little space, and then a couple of speakers as well. And so the back bit was going to be like a nice little space, but you could sort of pull out and change it as and when you needed to what you wanted to do. Don't know if I'm going to go down that route again, just like I don't know, I'll decide, I'll see what happens. But to all intents and purposes, that was kind of a couple of speakers in the TV, and that was the back area done and looking nice. And then, like I said, it's adaptable to use how you would want to use it, whether it be like obviously set up for my life, whether it be mountain biking and staying in it, whether it be a weekend away with the girlfriend, or alternatively where it would be work use. And so that would be that. And so now that takes us into the actual cabin, and this is basically the bit that's been sort of had the least done to it. It's had bits and pieces, had a bit of things, but really this is where the most things that was left over to do were to be done. So let's go through. So firstly, let's talk about the seats. Obviously being a Mark IV, I think these seats are a lot better than the previous model or previous iteration of it. But they still could look a lot nicer. So, you know, the standard Golf GTI seats, Golf GTD seats, Audi S3, anything like that. I think even Scirocco's look good. Like, you can go on all day for the seats that fit or can be made to fit in here and look good. And the reason that never got done, basically, I just never found a pair of seats that I thought were of decent value yet. And obviously just getting around to doing things and ticking them off the list as they come. So other things took priority when they came up and were available. The center console with the armrest. So because this is the Mark IV, the color of the dash is a bit darker than the previous generation. And again, I've never ever seen one available that's the same color and doesn't need some adapting, because also this area here is a different shape. Obviously not a problem in when it's built like this, but if you're trying to fit something from a previous generation, it's going to be a bit of a bodge job to get it in there. So you're talking about a slightly different shade of color between these two, and then also this shape would need some cutting to adapt. So you can get an armrest one in the right color specifically for this, but my understanding is it came on 2016 onwards Caddy Life models. And again, all the searching I've done, I've never found one. So that case would be the case of buying it new. And you know, with the funds that I had to do the van build, it just got put on the back burner, and other things got prioritized over it, similar to the seats. If I can find something quicker and easier that's not that expensive, that would take priority over the other thing. Now that then takes us on to this. So again, I've had, look at the dust. I've had this replacement Purchased like 3 months ago now. It's literally just sitting in the living room floor, in the living room on the floor in front of the telly, and I've just never ever had a chance to put it in. I've been so busy with life, etc. Things just not working out the way they were, which is the reason for the intermittent videos. So yeah, it's on the living room floor. It's not been put in yet. I will put it in, because what I wanted to do as well is, because I mentioned the speakers in the back, so I wanted to do, I've never ever done like a sound system in a car. I've done a head unit in 6x9s. I've done a head unit in 6x9s, and that's as in depth as it got, basically. So I would like to maybe do the head unit with an amp and a couple of speakers. I don't really see the need for a sub. But yeah, so like maybe front speakers, maybe some speakers further back here, and then an amp to run the speakers through as well, because my understanding is, I don't know a lot about audio and cars, but you know, if I'm doing this, great time to learn, would be if you run the head unit to the amp and then the amp to the speakers, the sound is a lot better than if you just run the head unit to the speakers directly. So that was again another learning thing that I could do at the same time, and just busy, never got round to it, but I have it. So like literally there's the roof rack and also the head unit. It's 2 videos that I that I've got teed up that I literally never got round to doing. So we'll see if we can fit those in at some point in the next few weeks. And then on the inside as well, so the other things was things that I'd thought of but never really was too committed about doing, just like maybe this would be an idea or not, etc, etc. But it wasn't like set in stone, I'm going to do this. I can just show this door card. So one of them was to experiment with the door cards basically, and see if we can maybe put, you know, material over here, so that's like softer to the touch, like, so maybe like something like this material over here, because that's got a bit of padding in as well, so it's like a little bit of a soft touch wrapped around. But from having a feel about and looking at these, this all seems to be one piece of molded plastic. Now I've never actually pulled it off, so on the back it might be sort of plastic welded in where you can just unclip it, but I've not experimented deep enough to have a look yet. Also thought about maybe making this silver to match the gear knob. And then I saw again in the Caddy Life model, this recess isn't here, it's just a flat, it's basically like this piece here runs all the way across, and that's like blanked off and that's flat. So I thought about doing that and making it look a bit nicer, because these have some weird texture on as well. And again in the doors it will be the same situation here to get rid of that texture, because I'm not really too keen on it. But then I saw the price of this, and there's no way I'm ever going to spend that much money on what I would regard as a piece of plastic. It's like in the hundreds of pounds basically, not worth the spend unless you find it mega cheap somewhere. Yeah, so that's basically what from the original plan I had left to do on the Caddy. And then obviously if I was to repeat the same process, I would go up and off-road wheels rather than down and road tires. But maybe that's me getting old and wanting something more comfortable, I don't know. But yeah, anyway, next videos, or next 2 videos, I don't know what order they're going to come in, because it depends on sort of what the weather's doing, but roof rack and then also the head unit. Both should be sort of a learning experience, and then hopefully not as bad as doing those curtains though. And then yeah, we'll see what goes on after that. So speak to you in a bit. Bye.